This video is going to be a little bit different than usual. Not in the typical sense, I doubt any of you watching will notice, but more so from my perspective. You see, usually I go into reviews like this with a couple of simple questions. Does it still hold up? And mainly, is it good? But with this video, I went in with another question. Was this just a tech demo? You see, later on in the console generations, the push for bigger and better graphics became the go-to with the marketing. It was less about the game itself, and more so about how dope this new 4K resolution with ray tracing or whatever other BS jargon they can come up with looks on this brand new console. You saw it at events where they would show off the likes of a new Unreal Engine 5 tech demo on stage to really show how much they can push the new hardware. And to me, personally, I could just not care less with this kind of thing. The more focus on a game looking graphically amazing, the duller a product you have for me is, and the less timeless it also becomes. We can all spot a 360 game in the wild because of how grey and dull each of those games looked, because that was the graphical push and style at the time. There's a reason why the likes of Overwatch has stuck around longer than most other games like it. It has its own style, its own unique art. Same goes for Fortnite. So when I hear about a game that may have just been made to show off a new console's graphics, I kept away from it like the plague. That is, until now. The Order 1886 was a PS4 title that over the years has garnered a bit of a reputation. You seem to either be a staunch defender of it, or are still dogging it as one of the worst titles on the console. And today, I get to play and decide which side of that fence I land on. So, let's waste no more time and get right into it. Here is the Order 1886. We start out locked up and under the warm wings of these two lovely guards, and the warning alarms for me blared right away during this opening, when this popped up.
I can do this all day, mate. Come on, give up your collaborator. Why, you little shit!
Ah yes, QuickTime events. My god, remember those? Rare we see them nowadays, but something happened during that PS3, PS4 era where every game was just riddled with them. They were a blight on so many games, and it really took something special to be able to overcome them. Sadly, here though, I cannot say that this game overcomes them. Even if this was one of the best games you have ever played, the sheer excessiveness that they are used is insane here. The guard is going to keep dipping you into the water. Better press a button. Can't get a key? Best hold this button for 15 seconds to now be able to grab it. I cannot stand these types of cheap engagement tactics. It's like the game is worried its cutscenes are going on for a tad bit too long, so wants to give the player a button prompt to wake them back up and make sure they're still playing and paying attention. As we are making our way out of the prison, let's just get the obvious out of the way. Yes, this game does look stunning. I know in the intro it may seem like I am against good graphics, but I'm not. I like a good looking game as much as the next person, but I need more than just a looker. On the note of how good this game looks, I do think in some places they have gone a little bit too far in the realism. Like, I know we are in a dingy prison in the 1800s, but come on, I like to actually see my environment. It is so dark in some areas. I do love this one moment where we are sneaking along the side of these planks. Not only is the camera angle and shot fantastic, but it nicely follows along to them revealing that the guards are fighting this howling beast trapped in a cell. It's just a great little moment in an otherwise fairly standard prison escape. As with another QTE with a lone guard and an elevator, we find ourselves surrounded and resulting in only one way out.
Hands on your head!
You have betrayed our order! No one may escape the penalty!
You forget, Lord Chancellor. I'm as good as dead already.
Galahad!
We flash back a couple of months to where our lead, Galahad, was still part of the force. And before we move on, I just want to go back to the graphics for a moment, because warning sign number 2 struck me at this very moment, and I want you to see if you can spot what I saw here.
Contain the threat. Do you have it in sight?
Not only do the birds loop, but they also hit this certain trigger point and then just vanish. There'll be a theme that you'll soon notice with a lot of points that I bring up with the order in this video, and that is all style with no substance. The environments are beautiful, but you'll soon find stuff that takes you out of the experience and almost make you feel like you're in a painting. Like here with these mirrors. In every reflective surface, your character is nowhere to be found. And unless we turn out to be a vampire, this feels like such a massive oversight to me. And I think it's moments like this, for me, that does make me question whether the game was just a tech demo. As there's so many choices made that feel done more so to show off some new graphical fidelity. It's all very surface level. Even something that has nothing wrong underneath the surface still makes it feel very, very shallow. Take for example, expecting items. The game will ask you or give you the ability to move and inspect an item throughout, but nothing more ever really comes from this. It's not like a survival horror where flipping and inspecting an item opens it up to reveal something more. It's simply just a pretty item in your hand that you can move about a bit. Yes, the bending of the picture is very pretty and very impressive for the time. You'll just come to see throughout this video that I wish it just had a little bit more to it than that. We soon meet our former trainee, Izzy, where we are tasked with investigating some escapees, which quickly takes us into our main gameplay loop, the shooting. And look, it's all very nice and all very serviceable here. Have you played Gears? Well, how about Uncharted? Then you've played this. You take cover and you use a small variety of different main weapons like rifles, shotgun, a sniper, or some side weapons like pistols to shoot your way through various rebels. I have no complaints with this action. I mean, it doesn't do anything groundbreaking or anything. You're never going to praise it as one of the best shooters you've ever played, but it does get the job done. My biggest issue sometimes didn't even come from the action itself, it came from the camera. Now, you are already fairly zoomed in on Galahad. This is strictly a third person over the shoulder type game, but as you may have noticed, the aspect ratio is very different in this game. It is letterboxed, which is a nice stylistic choice. I don't mind it, but it does take away from even more of the screen, leaving the majority of it taken up by Galahad himself. There also comes a moment that I have to touch upon during these shootouts, and it's this.
Izzy! Are you alright?
Damn it!
So, throughout the game there'll come moments where our knights are shot and are critically injured until they take a sip from these vials that they all carry which heals them. Now, this magical elixir is only ever really seen and used within cutscenes, creating this huge narrative and gameplay disconnect in my opinion. You see, in gameplay, to heal, you simply just wait. It's one of those take cover till the jam is off the screen type of games. But why though, when they also established this Blackwater elixir? Why wouldn't that act as my health pack? Maybe it'll be a case of having to refill it up throughout my mission. Maybe you only have a limited amount. Maybe even the rebels have got their hands on some of it, so you pick more up off them when looting. Just something more to connect the two. Again, so much in this game is just so surface level, which leads me into exploration. Take this next part, when we first separate from Izzy and continue on our own to find the escapees. The way to go is clear as the Order is a very linear game, but I still choose to explore. I mean, it's still early, maybe I can loot some more ammo, maybe I can find some more weapons, hell, maybe I'll even find a collectible or two. No, there's nothing here. It's one empty room after another empty room after another one, to a point I just have to ask, why bother putting them there in the first place? You know what my biggest disappointment was though? Well, let's watch and I'll break it down actually.
Everyone, one of our escapees is a half-breed. Make that more than one.
Yep, we've got werewolves in our game, and I'll be honest, I was super excited about this. I knew about them going in, and I've enjoyed the little teases throughout, like the beast in the beginning or the talks of half-breeds, and I do love this introduction. It is set up beautifully as such a tense and scary moment. Multiple half-breeds skulking about in the shadows in this dark generator room. How could they possibly mess this up?
Mademoiselle, are you near his location?
My route is blocked. It may take me some time to reach him.
Oh, like that. Yeah, this is just embarrassing. I'm sorry, I never want to seem super negative in my reviews. Even when I find things that I don't like, I like to keep the scales balanced by finding the good in it. But there's just not a lot I can defend here. The werewolves don't really hide or stalk you. They're dumb and just run at you for a quick swipe before running away. And the swipe is so pitifully easy to dodge. You can just put a full round in them before they even touch you. The gust of wind secondary shot the rifle has is enough to stun them even if they do get too close. And if you are swiped, who cares? It adds a bit of jam to the screen that you can heal by the time it remembers to run back to you for a follow-up swipe, meaning you can just get off even more shots on them. And all of it comes with another bloody QTE button prompt to finish them off with the same kill animation. What a cherry on top of a complete waste of potential that is. You know, to skip ahead a little to a complaint that I did write down in my notes later on, I put, for a game where you have to fight werewolves, there's very little werewolf fights here. And that is true. You maybe have 2 or 3 sections like this with some half-breeds in the entire game. But with gameplay like this, I'm going to turn that into a positive. Because I mean, who wants to play more of this? You see? Told you I can find the good in it. I will say as well that I did enjoy this small section afterwards where the last injured lichen is running through the streets of London and you have to pursue it while firing this really cool arc beam weapon at it. It's short, it's sweet, and again, I just wish there were more moments like it throughout. This sudden outbreak of escapees and half-breeds are not the first bit of disturbances Whitechapel has experienced lately, making for some of the council to want to investigate the matters more. Unfortunately, the head of the council and majority of the peers do not see eye to eye on the matter, leading to Percival wanting to go behind the council's back and investigate himself along with our and a small of a select few's help. Now, you may have already clocked a lot of familiar sounding names already. This order does share a lot of names with King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. In fact, it is heavily hinted that the head councillor himself may have even served with Arthur.
Is it true? Did the Lord Chancellor fight by Arthur's side?
That is the legend.
I really do like this. I mean, what's not to like about these Arthurian tales? Maybe we'll see other fable characters from those stories, like Morgan Le Fay. Maybe the head councillor will be revealed to be Merlin. Or maybe... no. I'm going to stop right there, because other than names only, this order has absolutely zero to do with Arthur, and serves no ties to him or his legends at all. There's no Excalibur, there's no Lady of the Lake, nothing. This is the Knights of the Round Table versus half-bred werewolves. Actually, judging by all the times you actually fight werewolves in this game, it's more so the Knights of the Round Table versus some blokes. You could take away the whole Arthur tie-in and it would change absolutely nothing about the game. Again, I'm going to keep repeating this because it encapsulates everything wrong about the game. It is all surface level. So you may have already wondered where Galahad gets all his wonderful toys from, and before we head out on our next mission, we do get that answer. Nikola Tesla, the legend himself, is our very own Q in this game, and I just love that. Sadly, it's only a quick visit to his lab, a few tests on some of his new inventions, and then it's right back to the streets of London to begin our covert mission, with the London hospital being our next stop. Now, with this being covert, we have to be as stealthy as possible. But we do get odd little moments like this, with a guy with his back turned to us. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to give you a multiple choice question here. What do you think we do here to take care of this guy? Do we A, sneak up behind him and silently take him out? Do we B, say screw it, pull out guns and start blasting? Or do we C, throw some fruit at his head so that your mate can jump him? And the correct answer is...
Oi!
Yeah, I just don't get it. You never have to use this distraction technique ever again, or do any real team-ups with the characters you are even working alongside. You could have just easily taken this man out yourself in the exact same way Lafayette did. And this is followed up by another strange moment that I won't be able to fully show, in which Lafayette makes us go into a brothel, where our guns are confiscated. He pays for a couple of women who takes us upstairs, where Lafayette then ditches them women by dipping into another occupied room, where we knock the poor bloke out who's just having a good time, steal his guns and escape out the back. Just again, why? Why did we have to detour through this brothel? The entire sequence is set up like Lafayette has a plan. He sees that some rebels are onto us, dips into the brothel, acts like he has a plan or he's going to get some relevant information or something, and then just wings an escape through a random room where we just so happen to meet a guy whose weapons we can steal. Not to mention the fact that once we do end our rooftop detour and find ourselves back on the ground, in the exact same area we just were, by the way, where the rebel meeting was just taking place, they start shooting at us anyway, forcing us into a shootout for the rest of the chapter. It's just such a baffling and odd detour to take. Never before have I played a game that is so blatant with its story padding. Now, the shootouts in this chapter, I do have to say, are a lot tougher than previous chapters. Firstly, as I say, you did get your standard issue guns taken off you back at the brothel, leaving you with a different rifle or whatever else you can find on bodies, and you can really feel the difference right away. That standard issue rifle is by far the best gun you'll be using throughout the game. Not to mention also that the enemies here are just better equipped themselves. They are better positioned, with weapons like snipers and shotguns, and there's a lot more of them, creating waves of enemies you have to fight. You can really struggle here, which was a bit of a relief for me honestly, as on top of all the already existing negatives I had, I was worried that the game was far too easy, making even the gameplay boring for me. We rendezvous with Percival, who also comments about how well the rebels are armed. He then shows us a room stockpiled with our latest weaponry, hinting that someone on the inside may be providing weapons to the rebels, before having to fight more to reach the hospital. And I do enjoy the hospital setting. The introduction to it is fittingly creepy and gruesome as we pass through an underground station to reach it. The aspect ratio here really does help as well. It adds to the feeling of a surrounding darkness. But then something like this happens and it reminds me of what game I'm actually playing. I feel like the only reason Galahad is consistently teamed up with a partner is so that the player isn't just shooting people in silence. They're there for the odd bit of conversation and that is it. They do not hit a single one of their shots, and only rarely do you team up with them to do some basics like move a heavy object. And it's a real shame, because I feel like all my pros and moments that I like come with big old buts, and I cannot lie. Take this section when you do finally reach the hospital. You're in the basement, the power's out, and you know there's a werewolf afoot. It's a perfect setting for some horror. But just like this moment, there's zero payoff. Even when we do find a werewolf, we just have these QTE moments with it, where we're running on rails shooting it, or just flat out duking it out with it. All that build up, all those beautiful dramatic lighting and tension, just to bob and weave with the bloody thing like you're sparring with it in a boxing ring. Further into the hospital, we start to find evidence that the rebels are planning to assassinate Lord Hastings, so set off to thwart their attempt, and this mission does not start well, as it puts forward the game's worst mechanic, stealth. To put it simply, stealth is just not fun, nor do I think the game was even built with stealth in mind. This is a cover shooter through and through, so these segments are just such a slog to get through. Certainly not helped by this weird timing system that they use to perform a stealth kill. You don't simply have to press a button to brutally murder a guard sneakily. You have to time it correctly, as it pulses quite quickly the moment you get within sniffing distance of your target, leading to a lot of mistimed mistakes. Luckily, once we do reach the ballroom to save Hastings, we have this nice little moment where we have to investigate each guard's uniform to identify the assassins before we can open fire. It's a great little blend of narrative and game, finally mixing well here. And once we do start opening fire on the assassins, it is back to business as usual. More shootouts, leading to the rebels getting more and more desperate and causing more damage to the airship, culminating to this moment.
Galahad! Hold your fire!
There's no time, Percival! We have to stop him!
Trust me, Grayson. Listen to me, lad. Stand down.
You have no idea who you're dealing with. We are not the enemy!
Then prove it! Stop this madness.
No. Not as long as the company is allowed to carry on unobstructed.
They won't. We'll see to it.
It's too late.
Sebastian? Friend. You don't have to do this.
You know, Percival's death is an odd one, because I feel like the writers couldn't quite make up their mind with what they wanted to do with him. On the one hand, he was seen as this long-time friend and mentor to Galahad and the team, but they also kept on dropping these scenes in which Galahad spies him speaking with this mysterious other person, a potential rebel even. And with the talks and evidence of the rebels being supplied with the knight's weaponry, it's like the writers were trying to cast suspicion onto Percival. So now I'm left with feeling, well, how did you want me to feel about this guy then, game? Did you want me to feel like I've lost a beloved mentor figure? Or was he just a red herring to my initial traitor suspicion? The game, again, can never just seem to stick a landing. Back with the council, Lafayette is knighted as the new Sir Percival, whilst the old one is being dogged by the head councillor. Before we can really step in to defend our deceased mentor, explosions are heard and reports of Hastings being attacked once more is given to us. Seeing this as an opportunity to hunt down the rebels that he holds responsible for Percival's death, Galahad ditches the rest of the knights and goes in hot pursuit of them, eventually managing to interrogate one and getting info on where he can find their leader back at the Whitechapel brothel. Now, as you can imagine, Galahad is in a shoot first and ask questions later kind of mood. That is, until the leader shows him her own vial of Blackwater, the magic elixir that all the knights acquire when they become a fully fledged member of the Order. This does buy her some time to actually talk to him.
Do you deny the attempt to kill Lord Hastings?
He deserves to die, along with every one of his collaborators.
And you expect us to just step aside while you carry out your campaign of terror?
Things are not as they seem. The company's secrets are well kept, even from the Order.
What secrets?
We fight through the docks to reach what Lakshmi has been trying to warn us about.
Look, Hard Knight. See the evil we both fight against.
Vampires? It can't be. How?
The half-breeds are consolidating their power. With the protection of the Lycans in your land, Hastings and his vampire ilk are spreading disease throughout your
Lord
state.
Hastings, he can't be one of them.
Many have witnessed in Whitechapel your noble lord roaming the streets late at night, preying on downtrodden women.
The Ripper gangs.
That is what you call them. How do you think the murderer still continues to evade Commissioner Doyle's dragnet? Whitechapel has become the Kindred's feeding ground.
and I have to say, I love this reveal. Not only did vampires take me by surprise, but revealing Hastings as one, and him also being Jack the Ripper, is a fantastic little twist and welcome surprise. My only complaint is, I hoped we would now be able to start fighting some of these sleeping vampires, as the end to the mission is us lighting this warehouse on fire to take out a fair amount of those bloodsuckers. And sure, while the shootouts are still fun and action-packed, why am I still only shooting random men in a game filled with werewolves and now vampires? As you can imagine, our tale of conspiracies and vampires fall on deaf ears. And we have kind of just torched all the evidence back at the warehouse, meaning that we need to go looking for more by breaking into the United India's headquarters itself to look for it, with a reluctant Lucan as a tag-along. And with it being a covert mission, you know what that sadly means. More stealth. And a whole mission of it this time, not just a segment. And I'll be honest, this was just miserable. Being spotted by a guard is an instant fail. There's no mini-maps to show you the enemies, and the game is just so dark, with enemies wearing nothing but dark, wet clothing, that it can make it super difficult to even keep aware of your surroundings and see them. Luckily, when we do finally get inside, it is back to shootouts as normal. And just as we find proof of werewolves and vampires being shipped across the nation to spread, who should turn up but the Ripper himself?
Lord Hastings.
Do you believe me now? He is the one behind all this.
The Whitechapel killings. The half-breed scourge. United India. All you.
Jacob Van Neck. Or, as the Fleet Street pamphleteers have so fondly named me, Jack the Ripper. At your service. I thank you, Sir Lucan, for delivering these meddlers.
Deal with them. And do not fail us.
You. Quite fortuitous, wouldn't you say, Sir Galahad? The rebel leader captured, and a traitor revealed, all in one fell swoop. The traitor being you, regrettably.
I doubt it would have done anything, but I have no idea why no one immediately just opened fired on this man. I mean, look at him, cool as a cucumber, chilling on the couch in his silk robe. Shoot the man. Do something. Anyway, Lucan's betrayal is soon revealed more so, as shortly after giving chase to him, this happens.
We swore an oath.
So Lucan is a werewolf and a traitor, and we are now brought back to the beginning of the game, our imprisonment and eventual escape, where it's revealed that Tesla himself saved us from the river and nursed us back to health, along with the rest of the rebels. Now, I know this may seem like a weird pivot, but I want to take a moment to focus on Izzy for a moment, as I really do like her character and arc throughout. She may seem tough, but a heavy romance is hinted between her and Galahad.
Gray, it hurts.
Izzy, you'll be fine.
I can't do this much longer. Not this life.
Save your strength.
We deserve better. You and I, together.
So seeing him push her away upon learning the truths he learns, allowing her to believe that he is a traitor and a rebel, it all really does take a toll on her, and you can see that hurt and anger on her face at all times when it comes to the pursuit and capture of Galahad, and I just appreciate that character work. There's not much of it in the game. I'd argue only herself and Lafayette do get any. Everyone else is fairly one note, but I really do enjoy what is there. Now, making our way back to the council, we find an injured Tesla and have a final showdown with Lucan, which of course means more QTEs. Leading us to putting down our former friend and this happening. And that is the Order 1886. I have to say, I have heard how short this game is, but even I could not predict it going out like this. The amount of loose ties that will forever go untightened because of course this game was never going to get a sequel. No vampire fights, no hasting fights nor takedown, no clearing our name or bringing light to the Order's secrets. Just a weak QTE boss battle to finish off a half-baked tech demo with nuggets of potential. As I said, I do see the good here. I like some of the character developments, the action is fun and serviceable, and the idea of knights versus werewolves and vampires is fun, but it just never delivers on anything in my opinion. Everything is just a surface level shine. Thank you all for watching and for making it this far. If you do like what I do here, then do drop a like and a sub and check out some of my other reviews or first impressions on newer releases. It really does help with the channel. And let's keep the conversation going below. Until next time, take care.